You ever wonder if love could be, predicted? Well, today we're diving into some pretty surprising science that completely flips our ideas about relationships on their head. We're going to start with what makes long distance couples work, and then we'll get a peek into a wild future where an AI version of you could find your perfect match. So here's the game plan for today. We'll start by busting a huge myth about long distance love, then we'll get into the science behind it, and finally, we'll see how that very science is sparking a totally new, kind of radical way to think about dating. Okay, let's jump right in by tackling a belief that pretty much everyone holds as gospel. The idea that long-distance relationships are just fundamentally broken. We've all heard it a million times, right? Oh, that'll never work out, or the distance is just too much. It's basically written into our cultural DNA that long distance is a one-way ticket to heartbreak. But is that what the data actually says? Well, for starters, these relationships are way more common than you might think. Just in the US, you've got about 3 million married couples living apart from each other. And check this out, up to 75% of college students have been in a long-distance relationship. So this isn't some rare niche thing. It's a huge part of modern romance. Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. When researchers actually started comparing these long-distance couples to the ones who live nearby, they found something, well, something that goes against everything we assume. Get a load of this. Completely counter to what we all think we know, long-distance couples report the same or even higher levels of trust and satisfaction. And here's the absolute kicker. When you look at it interaction by interaction, they actually feel more intimacy, not less, more. So the big question is, how on earth is that possible? I mean, if they have less face-to-face time, how can they possibly feel more connected? Turns out, the answer is in two really fascinating psychological tricks that our brains pull when distance gets in the way. First up, there's something called behavioral adaptation. Basically, because they can't just rely on being physically there, long-distance partners have to be more intentional. They have to put more work into their conversations, sharing deeper, more personal stuff to make up for that physical gap. Their communication kind of gets an upgrade out of necessity. And second, there's idealization. Think about it. When you're not seeing someone every single day, you miss all the little boring annoyances. The socks on the floor, the squabbles over the remote. Instead, your mind just zeroes in on all their best qualities, creating this amazing greatest hits version of your partner. And this is where modern tech makes things really wild. Take a look at this chart. On the left, behavioral adaptation. On the right, idealization. See how both of those lines shoot up as the type of communication gets simpler? So moving from a rich video call all the way down to a simple text message, it's showing that when we have fewer cues, no body language, no tone of voice, our brains just work overtime to fill in the blanks. And that leads to us sharing more and idealizing our partner even more. It's like the limitations are actually forcing a stronger connection. Crazy, right? So let's connect the dots. If we've just learned that high-quality interaction is the secret sauce for intimacy, well, that raises a massive question. Are we doing modern dating completely wrong? Does this point to a huge, fundamental flaw in how we try to find love? This quote right here just nails it. The real problem with dating apps is that they try to match us based on static profiles, our hobbies, our job, our pictures. They're trying to figure out chemistry by just looking at a list of ingredients, but they never actually see how those ingredients cook together. Yeah, this whole traditional method totally misses the most critical piece of the puzzle, the actual dynamic. How two people talk, how they joke, how they support each other. It's all about the interaction, not just the bullet points on a profile. Okay, so what if we just flip the whole script? What if, instead of matching people based on who they look like on paper, we could actually predict compatibility based on how they would really be together? This is where this pretty wild new idea called love first, know later comes into play. So on the left, you've got the old way, comparing static profiles. But on the right, that's the new idea. What if we could just simulate the relationship first, using AI agents that act just like us? Okay, the process is just mind-blowing. First, you've got these AI models that create digital agents based on two real people. Then, these two AI agents go off and have conversations. They navigate tricky situations together, like, say, planning a vacation or working through a disagreement. And while all this is happening, another AI called the Love Observer is just watching them, analyzing their dynamic to predict if there would be real-world chemistry. So what does this all add up to? Let's take a look at the future this kind of tech could build. a totally new and frankly revolutionary way of finding a partner. I mean, just imagine a system where your AI agent learns from you and gets better and better at representing you based on your feedback. You could literally watch your agent go on these simulated dates and get real, transparent insights into why a match might work or not. And instead of just ticking boxes on a questionnaire, you could discover your own preferences by seeing how your AI handles different situations. It's like an active, collaborative journey to find love, and it's built on those interaction dynamics we now know are so important. So the final kind of provocative question all this research leaves us with is a really personal one. As this technology keeps developing, we might all have to ask ourselves, would we actually trust an AI version of us to go out there and find love for us? The future of romance might just be a whole lot stranger and way more data-driven than any of us ever imagined.